teams I support. And I also have some maybe for Vipers, you know, but my Vipers was my opponent, but it seems the team is going down. The Cape Coasters are around the world. Please mobilize resources to come and help Vipers and don't have to come back to the limelight. We are really, I mean, Cape Coast used to be the center of football. If you look at the kind of players we've produced in the past, Robert Mensah and all that, but things are not working. So we are pleading with the Cape Coasters around the world to come together to support these two teams. Abontu and Vipers to say, Ija, Ofili Bubum. Cho baby.
Next to Ebo is Professor Enoch Opoku. Prof, I support Inter Miami in America. You support any football team in the US?
Oh, of course, Columbus.
Columbus, eh?
Yes, Columbus, because I stay there. I want to say greetings to all our listeners and viewers everywhere in the world. And nobody's talking about the Blues. We won the Conference League.
Oh, yes. In fact, a bit of record, we are told the first club to win all the competitions.
Yes.
First club, yeah.
Oh,
Can't be a Blue.
Wow. Then they've done well.
Chelsea have done well. But I want to say this as a starter or preamble, that if you look at all the currencies that have come down, it's not just the dollar. People are talking about the dollar, but the pound sterling, the euro have all come down. It means our city is really doing great. Those who are paid in dollars are suffering. Those who are renting in dollars are suffering because the city is really doing good. But food prices have not come down, and that is a worry to me. I think that the actual farmers who are producing the food are not getting the money. It is those who buy them, and the middle people who are making the money. So somebody goes and buy a bunch of food at Abogloshi cheaper, goes to Cantonment or Jolu or other places, and then they sell it higher to the people. So I think that you can't buy coconut for 2 cedis and then sell it for 7 cedis. That is super normal profit that people are looking for, and we have to look at that. That borders on ethics for me. We need to be ethical and think about the people and reduce prices of food so that we can all enjoy life in Ghana.
I see. That's a big concern, and we expect it to reflect in prices. And I mean, the way business people are in a hurry to always jack up prices when the city is depreciating. All of a sudden, things are looking good, and you are telling us that you bought the items before the money started. When it goes up, you don't tell us that you want to wait and get new stock. I think you should try and be fair to all of us in doing that. Also joining us this morning via Zoom, Austin Kwabna Brako Powers. He's a legal practitioner. Austin, good morning.
Yeah, hello, Joe. Joseph, good morning. Good morning. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for joining us once again. So that is it by way of my guest this morning. And the conversation, like you may be well aware, is issues surrounding Chairman Wontumi, as he's popularly called, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party. This is a story that started unfolding from Monday when he had to go over to the police CID. That's where the story started from. He went over to the police CID. We were told he was being investigated for mining-related offenses. And there was a statement from the police CID indicating that he had cooperated with investigations so far. Now on Tuesday, he was asked to come back. He went back to the police CID. Then when he was done, he was picked up at the police CID by the Economic and Organized Crime Office. They were investigating him for various offenses as well. And since then, he's been in custody. We are told he's been granted bail. The terms 50 million cedis is what we have heard so far to be justified. And what we don't understand is whether it is simply a refusal on his part or those who are close to him to sign the surety for him as a means of protest, or they are unable to meet those particular terms. And already that has generated a lot of controversy, first starting off in Parliament, where Alexander Fenyomakin, the minority leader, sought the intervention of the legislative body in that regard. Let's take a listen to what he said on the floor of Parliament.
Iyoko, without delay, must revoke and vary that onerous bail condition. The man is still in the hospital. You are demanding 50 million worth of property. Yesterday, when one surety got there, they now said that the person to go and do inspection has closed. It's not available. You go there at 10 o'clock, they say it's not available. Mr. Speaker, we should not do this to ourselves until Iyoko is able to do the right thing. We, the MPP side, however our numbers, will protest by absenting ourselves from proceedings of this house and join him. We are all going to sleep there with him, and we are not going to ask for any property. We don't have 50 million worth of properties. Where is he going to get it from? That go and bring landed.
Well, there was a response from the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament who was presiding over proceedings. He simply said that, well, Parliament cannot intervene in this matter.
Having regard to the constitutional principle, the supreme law of the land, above and beyond which no further law exists, what then is expected of Parliament? I believe this is a matter that can adequately be addressed by the judiciary. For me, if a decision of an institution can be challenged at the court, if a security agency poses a bail condition that you feel that the bail condition is harsh, I do not think Parliament will have the authority to call for a review of that particular decision.
Not pleased with this response, the minority decided to pour onto the streets as they had threatened to do. The minority leader led the charge. They went over to the Economic and Organized Crime Office headquarters, where they pitched camp in front of the premises for a long time. Just in the evening was when they left. But at that particular place, the minority leader addressed the press. Listen to Alexander Fenyo marking once again.
Looked at the constitution. They should vary the bail term. The man is unwell. He's in their custody. They know. So they should vary. Wound to me will not run anywhere. And I'm telling our friends in the NDC, 4 years will soon come. And if they think what they are doing is right, they should watch it. They should watch it. Treat others the way you expect them to do unto you.
Are you?
So if you keep wound to me, is he using bail to punish him? We are here, we are protesting. We expect him to do the right thing. What has wound to me done? Huh? Why are they?
At this point, the entire nation was confused and was wondering, I mean, what exactly has wound to me done? Why is he being moved around? First mining offenses, all of a sudden Yoko is involved. There were suggestions, there's some loan that had been advanced that had not been paid. There were lots of, stories all over the place. But all of a sudden, we have a bit of explanation coming in. The Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Sremsai, has put out some form of explanation. I want to bring that to you now. He says here that suspect Bernard Entry Bwesiako, aka Chairman Wontumi, is under investigation for various criminal offenses, including fraud, causing financial loss to the state, and money laundering. The criminal investigation is running concurrently with asset recovery processes to prevent further dissipation of what law enforcement agencies strongly suspect to be proceeds of crime. The suspect is also under a second strand of investigation, which is part of a larger international organized crime scheme. The Economic and Organized Crime Office is working with international law enforcement partners on this second strand of investigations. So that is what we know by way of this particular story. So Chairman Wontumi came down to Accra looking at offenses related to mining, and now we are learning about issues connected to fraud, money laundering, and international organized crime of sorts in which Yoko is partnering external agencies. Then there's the fear of a dissipation of what is believed to be proceeds of crime. And so state officials or investigators are trying to secure all of that to prevent that from happening. And there's a lot to pour on, to chew on in terms of this particular fast developing story. We are getting some suggestions that it is possible that he may be able to meet the bail conditions today. We'll be looking at that as well as we go along. But the point is that this is a very interesting story that is taking place. And we'll be showing you in the course of the discussion some of the videos from the protest yesterday. We saw the minority leader and the others sit on the floor at the Economic and Organized Crime Office. They were sitting on the floor. There were more instances where, so you see Alexander Fenyamakin in your shot there, singing and chanting and cheering them on. You see him once again seated on the floor with his colleagues by his side. The deputy minority leader is the one you saw in the plastic chair. She didn't make it to the floor like the others, but that is a form of protest that they were putting out there. A bit of scuffle here and there with the police at various points in time. Ties were brought. I saw a video of an attempt to burn a tie, and that was scattered by the police. You see them again in your shot, the minority members of parliament over there, and you heard the minority leader say that, look, they are going to do this until it gets to the point where something is done about its bail conditions. They are not going to go to parliament, they are going to boycott parliament, and they are going to register their displeasure with the bail conditions that have been fixed by the Economic and Organized Crime Office. And I want to start the conversation by coming to AB at this point in time. And AB, I mean, what is happening? I mean, how do you process all that is taking place? And are they justified to register their displeasure where they are doing so at the Economic and Organized Crime Office? It's a valid way of registering their displeasure, some will say, or you hold the view that they should be going to the law courts if they have any such concerns.
So let me say good morning to your viewers. The minorities' conduct yesterday is clearly lawlessness at its best. What happened yesterday was nothing more than lawlessness. Fenyamakin should shut up. You can't scream on your voice and say that Iyoko should vary the terms of the bill of the bail condition. If we were going to be doing that, then state institutions cannot work. Then when state institutions act and you are not happy, all you need to do is to go to those state institutions, attack them, scream on your voice, and then they will change their decision. You don't do that in a democracy. That is not what is done. But aren't you surprised that a man who could file a case in the morning and by 12 get the Supreme Court empaneled and the decision is given to him, the same man is afraid to go to court? What has happened? Let's find out. Let's ponder over that. Because this is a man who would ordinarily run to the court. We know that's his modus operandi. Why is it that on this occasion, this man is now screaming on his voice and is not resorting to the courts? Does that feed into the conspiracy that people have come out with, that there was a certain woman there who was favoring him, and now the woman is no more there, and that's why they can't proceed to court? Does that feed into that narrative? Why? One to me. We were all in this country and saw his conduct. Even under the Akufo-Addo administration, he was reported to the police. But the police were not capable of dealing with the matter. There are people who voted for a change of government because they want wrongdoers in the previous administration to be held accountable. There are a chunk of Ghanaians who did that. They were not interested in NDC coming to power. Their interest was that we want people to be held accountable. Under Akufo-Addo administration, Wuntumi's company, and I'm talking about the police, because the police first arrested him, was cited for mining illegally in a forest reserve. So the police then picked him for unlawful entry into a forest reserve. That same conduct can occasion another crime. Which crime is what Iyoko 2 is dealing with? The three you have mentioned. Money laundering, because the predicated offense is you engage in illegal mining. So money laundering is as a result of the predicated offense of illegal mining. Then you transform the money into another
maybe asset or something.
Exactly. When the money is transferred into doing another activity, that's where the money laundering is. It's not just about carrying the money outside. Now he's been granted bail after interrogation. Yes, you may feel that the bail condition is high. You may feel so. But how do you get that overturned? All administrative bodies in this country are under judicial review of our courts. So if you see that an administrative body is going or has done something which is beyond its jurisdiction, you proceed to court and have the court try to overturn what they have done. On this equation, we are seeing the minority engaging in lawless behavior. Look, all these things have happened in this country before. Me, in my previous life, as director of legal of the NDC, that was at the height of the MPP's attack and atrocity on some of our members. That was when I was virtually sleeping at the police headquarters. We saw all these things. At one point, I told some of my people that, look, these police people have no problem. It is we, the politicians, who are using them against ourselves. I told my colleagues. So, have we gone full cycle? The answer is yes. Because today, the minority is speaking the same language we were speaking.
I mean, but is that not the more reason why you should be concerned about what is happening?
No, me, I have told you that you do me, I do you before we come to the table.
No, but I mean,
No.
We all agree that.
Because if one side...
That would leave the world blind.
Yes, but this is not what will lead us. This one, it will not, we won't go blind. We will only go into sales and come back. Now, full cycle. I remember Ampofo, my former chairman, was being harassed. Ampofo was on, when he's sleeping those days, he'll put this thing there. We told the police that this man uses, what's the name of that machine? Oxygen. He has some medications. Then they will say that it's an order from above. My point this morning is, if we as politicians don't come to the round table and say that we put these things aside and deal with each other with respect, I would say that these things will continue. This arrest will continue. This conduct by the police will continue. But was that the right approach for the minority? The answer is no. They could go and file habeas corpus, because I hear some of them even saying that they don't know the whereabouts of the man.
In fact, on the first day, the suggestion was that he had been rushed to a hospital. They went
around. Oh, no, they didn't see the hospital, him, yes. Yeah. And there are astute lawyers amongst them. The MPP, those people who were seated there. You file a habeas corpus application. You could even use the pegging of the bail bond to say that they are using the amount to deny Wontumi bail. Even though bail is granted, but you've pegged it so high that he can't beat it. But you don't lead people to Yoko, virtually ordering them to reduce the bail bond. Is that how we operate in a democracy? I think that the minority, led by Afenyo Maki, is a complete disgrace, and I am of the view that their conduct should be criticized by all well-meaning Ghanaians. We have the courts. They were the first to be telling people that go to court, go to court. What has happened within these last 4 months that they have no confidence in the court? What has happened? I want an answer from them.
Let me bring in Ebo. I'll come back and engage AB a bit further on some of the issues. But I mean, Ebo, the point that AB admits to is the fact that the politicians are to blame. This is how they run things. when they are in government and when they are in opposition. So when they are in opposition, they are the victims and they are throwing around all the human rights issues. Then when they are in government, they are the beneficiaries, so they are satisfied, they defend state agencies. I mean, that cannot be good practice for all of us.
Let me say good morning to our viewers. Akable, is when democracy embraces you, it embraces you with two hands. One is a hand of enjoyment. The right one is a hand of accountability. You can't be enjoying from democracy, and then when it comes to the time for you to account for the things you did, then you want to run away from democracy. That will not be unfair. That will not be fair to Ghanaians. That democracy provided you with an opportunity that many Ghanaians didn't get. Out of that opportunity, the state has come to conclusion that you have some questions to answer in respect of the assignment you were given to do or resources that were given to you. Now, you want to sing a different song. You have enjoyed what democracy provides, but you don't want to account for the things you did. That is the demand side of democracy. It has supply side and the demand side as well. So I don't have any problem at all with what is happening. If politicians would treat themselves like that to ensure accountability, I'm all for it. What I wouldn't want to see is a situation where they will be playing this symbiotic kind of game with us. I pat your back, you pat my back. I consider you, you consider me. That is what we don't want to see in this country. But if they are going to be on each other for accountability, then it's good for the country. I hope you understand the point I'm making.
I get you, but
yeah, because I mean, let's face it. I mean, let me even come to what happened yesterday. Then maybe I'll zoom in on some of the other issues. You see, what we witnessed yesterday, the action, the behavior of the opposition can best be described as a comedy of opposition. A comedy of opposition. It was nothing short of clownishness that you leave parliament, you go and sit on the streets, you are protesting. One MP was questioned. He said they were arresting. He said, so I was at a point that said, are they protesting or they arrest? Because he said, and one of those sitting now, he said, oh, we are arresting. I said, okay, probably they are not protesting, they are arresting. Maybe they are tired of being in parliament because of their numbers. So now they wanted a bigger place to rest. So that's why they were arresting. I mean, the man has been granted bail. Every bail comes with conditions. You have to meet the conditions to get out. You have not met the conditions. So if you even want to negotiate for the conditions to be amended, is that how to go about it? Is that how to go about it? The ordering state authority that they should, with immediate effect. Who are you? Nobody is bigger than the states. And whatever that is being done by Yoko is within the confines of the law. So if you think, yes, you can't meet the bail condition and therefore you would want an amendment or you want it to be reviewed downwards, of course, find a nice way to approach it. If you have to go to court, go to court. I mean, I don't know whether they forget that they are in opposition. You are not, you see, 5 months ago, you could have done that. But now you are in opposition. So your approach should be different. You don't talk as if you have it all, you can do it all. So do you understand the point? So my worry is that, I mean, let's be honest. Are they saying that if they are to be sincere, are they saying that they can't provide that surety?
I mean, from what we know, I mean, it's potentially possible that this is more of a protest than inability. And I say so because in the Kwabena Dubois situation, I mean, it was initially 120 million. It went down to, when they went to the court, it came down to 80 to be justified, and they managed to meet those conditions as well. But I mean, you would agree that, and the lawyers will tell you that if the investigators want to keep you, I mean, they can fix conditions that will simply be impossible for you to meet it.
In my view, I think they are afraid. You see, they are afraid to come out.
Who is afraid?
Oh, the opposition. I mean, they're
afraid to do what?
Some of their ill-gotten money, they're afraid that if they come out to say, this is my house, they will be in trouble. So they are afraid. Don't mind them. If they really want to get the man out, they can get the man out. Because they know by doing so, the extent of their loot and their thievery will be exposed. So that is why they are doing that. Because if really they want to get the man out, they'll get the man. So the point I'm making is that, you see, look at the way they behave in respect of the CJ's issue. All the time, they are painting a picture, they are portraying some impression out there that something untoward, something illegal is being done, when everything is being done according to law. I'm saying that we are in a democracy. If you think what is being done is against the law, the place to go is the court, not on the street. And look at yesterday, I was so sad. You see, the party I joined in 1992, my former party, MPP, the MPP I joined is completely different from this MPP. I mean, the only thing they have in common is the name. Even the name, some say this is Nana Pepo's party, not New Patriotic Party. If really the MPP I joined in 1992, if they were to protest or fight for some of these things, this will not be the approach. I mean, just cast your mind back. 1990, in the 90s, when things were even more difficult, did you see something like what they are doing? So, yes, if they think, and it's so funny the way they put it, you wait in 4 years' time, 4 years is just around the corner, as if they are going to vote for all of us in 4 years to come. They should spare us.
Okay.
Afenyo Markin and his leadership style, for me, leaves much to be desired. Okay. He has to change his approach. He has to, do things differently. If MPP wants to be seen to be a very serious opposition party, they would have to begin to do things differently. They have to make sure that they project a new leadership, a fresh vision to Ghanaians, so that a vision that will easily resonate, with the needs and aspirations of Ghanaians, so that Ghanaians will see that at least we're experiencing a rebirth, if you like, of MPP that is prepared to do things differently. But if this approach is if this is how they are going to run things, I'm telling you, even the 88 in Parliament will reduce to 50 if they don't take it.
Let me come to Prof now. And Prof, what do you make of all that is playing out? I mean, are you satisfied that due process is being followed? I mean, the MPs on the minority side, clearly they disagree.
Thank you again. Let me say greetings to all our viewers everywhere in the world. I am saddened that there is a standard that is so below the bar that we are fighting for. I'm a servant leader, and I've written a lot of books on servant leadership. One of the key characteristics of servant leaders is healing. You heal the people. And I think that what we're doing is for MPP and NDC so that we can heal. A student that I am mentoring sent me a question. And what he asked was that, Prof, do MPs have the right to protest without informing the police? And I look at the question, and then I said that, he asked again that, what do you make of the MPs, what they are doing at the Yoko's office? And I replied that they are fighting for one of their own. I thought lawmakers will use the law, not the protest. And then he replied, unfortunately. When you look at somebody who taught us the act of nonviolent protest, Gandhi, sitting down, protest, it was for a good cause. And the cause was that Indians in South Africa were not allowed to vote. And he championed that cause, that give us the chance to vote. So the bottom line of the question is, has Wontumi done anything? Yes, is that not what he's saying? And then the bond that they said he should pay, the bounty on him, 50 million, yes, he kill him to. Have you seen the guy kill him to? Good. So they said killer into. Now, you see, I'm always on social media looking at what people are saying, and I follow the trend because it helps me a lot. So has Wontumi done something? or he hasn't done anything. Let's go back to the facts. So let the facts show. First, they said that he's a suspect. The CID and the Yoko say that first, he's a suspect. Two, he's under investigation. The question is, investigation under what? What has he done? And then they said various criminal offenses. And that includes fraud, causing financial loss to the state, and then money laundering. Then they said that the criminal investigation is also running concurrently with asset recovery process. And what has he done there? They suspect that his proceeds come from ill-acquired wealth or crime. These are his crimes. Now, he's also under investigation, a second one, for a larger international organized crime scheme. So, why BB and now BB? You see, this is where Ghanaians all should go. Now, if he's done anything, the biggest question listening to all those who have been speaking from Afenyo Markin to the other MPP people is that the elephant in the room is who is next. So the protest you see around is who is next. Who are they going to come after? So if you are not taking any money, if you've not done anything wrong, why should you be bothered? But if you've done something wrong, then you think that you are going to be the next. That is why you are protesting today. So who is Woon to me? Are there not... The people have been saying that it's an attempt to come after big wigs of MPP. So is Woon to me bigger than Ntim, Stephen Ntim, who is the national chairman of the MPP? Has anybody gone for Ntim? What about JFK, the secretary? Has anybody gone for him? So why Woon to me? Because there's crime and other things that he's under investigation for it. Now, I want to educate people a little bit when we talk about accountability. Because people need to know, instead of we talking about politics and politics, for lack of knowledge, we perish. So let me explain what accountability is so that people will understand. One is an obligation. Two is your willingness to take responsibility for your own action, decisions, and the outcomes. So Woon to me is accountable for his own actions, decisions, and outcomes. If you're a political party and you want to be a group accountability, then think first about the standard. So what is MPP standards? What is the standard of the political party? And the party has the standard. They're also responsible for their mission, their ethics, and their outcomes too. So is MPP standard Woon to me? Is that a standard? Now let me go further to explain this. That accountability involves one, answerable for your own results. Two, being transparent in the process. Three, your committed continuous improvement. Four, not shifting blames. Five, acknowledging that you have erred. Six, communicate transparently. Seven, you adjust your planning steps. And then eight, it prevents recurrence. So all that we are talking about accountability is that we don't want these things to, come back again. We want to stop something. What do we want to stop? Corruption. It appears to me that there's not a single rich person in Ghana. All that money that they are boasting about is coming from poor citizens. They are stealing from the people and boasting in public that they have money. Why do I say so? Because we have a problem. We play the victim role, that I'm the victim. They are chasing me. I haven't done anything. And then we blame others. Then we wait for hope that it will go away. MPP will come. They will say all NDC people were corrupted. And then nobody will be caught. Nothing will happen and to go away. But this is also a warning to NDC. That NDC will not be in power forever. So this thing that I started is a very fine, interesting landscape. Okay. Why do I say so? Because it has started the spiral of MDC trying to show Ghanaians that those who have been corrupted are facing the full rigors of the law. Now, when MPP come to power, they will also chase the same individuals who embezzled funds and stole money and were being investigated. So eventually we are going to heal, and then that corruption will stop. That is accountability. So eventually we are not going to play the blame game. We are not going to say that we are the victims. We are not going to sit down and say it will go away. They will say it after 2 weeks, it's going to go away. And then what instead we are looking for is acknowledging the reality that there is corruption in the system. People have done bad to the country, and then we find solutions so that we can all win together and make the change happen. So what I'm saying is that we need to uphold our group standard. Yes, Wontumi belongs to a group, which is the MPP. But what is the standard of the MPP? That if somebody has been, it's an investigation of various crimes, they are saying that he should not be investigated. Is that what the challenge is?
Okay.
I rest my case.
Let me go over Zoom now and then bring in Austin Bracco Powers. Austin is a legal practitioner. And Austin, I want to ask you a very direct question. I mean, if you have a client who has been invited by Yoko, police, whatever investigative body, OSP, and your client goes over there and is cautioned and is arrested, or they decide to detain him and they make available conditions that you feel are onerous, would you advise supporters of their clients to go over to the investigative body to protest, or you go straight to court?
Joseph, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I think in simple terms, there are two routes to this issue. And the first route has to do with the fact that as a counsel for somebody suspected to may have participated in a criminal activity, if you feel a law enforcement agency or the police or any of the other law enforcement agencies, as you well articulated, Yoko, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, plays an onerous, or let me say, a bail condition you feel that is onerous, your first option will have to be to go to court and have the court vary. Go and make a legal argument before the court for the court to see a reason in why it should intervene in varying a bail condition. That's the first route. The second route is that, the law enforcement agents are not supposed to detain a suspect beyond 48 hours. So, ordinarily, if you impose a bail condition on a suspect and you know the suspect is unable to meet the bail condition, it is clear to you that the suspect cannot meet the bail condition. So you, the law enforcement agency, you must also go to court within the 48 hours. And this is a right you must exercise because it's a constitutional provision, it's a constitutional injunction per Article 14.3, and also when you look at Section 15 of Act 30, the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act. So these two options, I was expecting that at least either the lawyers for Wontumi will exercise that option or Yoko will exercise that option, because beyond 48 hours, Yoko is overstepping its boundary or its bounds. And it is an attempt trying to sidestep the constitutional provision, which says that if the person if you're unable to release the person, and in this case, because Wontumi is unable to meet the bail condition, it is clear that he cannot release Wontumi. By reason of that, Yoko must go to court and have the court to step in. That this is the main reason this person is not able to meet the bail condition. So what will be the next step? But Yoko is quiet, and also the lawyers for Wontumi are also not going to court. So I'm surprised. I'm just looking at the whole issue appears to be a drama. In this case, it looks like an account drama, and we are just looking at what is happening. I have had an opportunity to analyze what is going on, and I feel that MPP has good lawyers who have, spearheaded groundbreaking cases, which are now precedent for everyone. This is a clear case for you to go to court if you feel the law enforcement agencies, or let me put it in this way: granting of bail is discretionary. The law enforcement agencies may either grant you bail, or they can decide not to grant you bail, and they can decide to grant you bail either with surety or without surety, and either whether it should be justified or not. This is a clear discretionary exercise they must exercise. If you feel that they didn't exercise it well, that is why the court is there, and the court has the opportunity to now assess whether it was fairly imposed or not, and to vary it. So, Joseph, I think these are the two options that I am expecting to see, and I'm not seeing them. Okay. Yoko is quiet, and Yoko arrested Wontumi on May 27th. Today, if looking at the time they arrested Untumi, I think by afternoon they would have overstepped their boundary, and I think by now Yoko too. It is clear that it is apparent that he cannot meet the bail condition. So by reason of that, Yoko is unwilling to release him. So they can go to court. Yoko can exercise that right. Likewise, the lawyers for Untumi should also exercise that right.
I mean, Austin, on the point of Yoko going to court, I mean, there are those who will disagree with you, and the argument that they will make will be to the effect that the provision you made reference to, Article 14.3, if you go down to 4, you see it makes the point that either you are releasing the person conditionally or unconditionally. So the argument Yoko would advance is that they have released him, but he's been released conditionally. So he's been released, you can go, provided you meet these conditions, especially because at this point in time, they may not be ready to go over to court to file any charges against him, which could even risk, pointing him to what angles of investigation they are still undertaking. And if he is granted bail, he could interfere with it. So the point they are making is that, well, the law is that release conditionally or unconditionally. We have released you, meet these conditions and go.
No, but you see, Joseph, I think if you take it literally, you miss the mark. Because you see, the thing is that if you impose a bail condition on a person, a suspect, and the suspect is not able to discharge that condition, inadvertently, you are willing to release him. Can Yoko say that Untumi should walk out from their premises? They will not. They will not release him.
Yeah, but in fixing, you made a point that it's discretionary, and in exercising that discretion, you would have to exercise it based on the facts available to you. So the facts that the investigator has is that this is potentially someone that we feel may interfere with investigation, the considerations under Section 96. He may say that, well, he may not even come back, he may not show up due to the severity of the offenses that he's being investigated against. So we do not have access to all that information that are within their domain. So it is that information that they have processed and come to the conclusion that these are the terms.
So in this case, Yoko must go to court. Because you see, detaining the person or restricting his movement beyond 48 hours amounts to a clear breach of the Constitution. If you feel that the person may in a way disrupt or interfere with ongoing investigation, and may not be able to appear before court or appear to answer certain questions, it's a clear case that you are unwilling to release the person. So then go to court and justify why the person should continue to be with you or why you should continue to detain the person. But you see, detaining the person beyond the 48 hours, that is a clear breach of the Constitution. And you see, that is my worry as a legal practitioner. The thing is that what we are entertaining today, we should be careful. Because you see, we entertained this during Akufo-Addo's time, and we're also entertaining the same thing during Mohammed's second term. It is a no. You see, we must be careful. The Constitution is clear on this. If you feel you cannot release a person then within the 48 hours, it didn't say after 48 hours. It says within 48 hours. When you read Article 14.3, and you read Section 15 of Act 30, within 48 hours, the constitutional provision is clear. So, per your submission, if Yoko feels that Untumi will interfere with ongoing investigation, and they feel that the suspect may not avail himself for any proceeding or interrogation, this is a clear case why Yoko should go to court and justify it before the court why they should be given opportunity to continually, they should be given opportunity to detain or to continue to detain Untumi. Okay. But you see, detaining Untumi beyond the constitutional provision is a clear breach of the Constitution.
All right.
Yoko must respect the law, and I'm expecting the president to start pulling certain strings, because you see, detaining him and pouring out this kind of claims that he may not appear before, they are justified grounds. Go to court and let the court sanction whatever you are saying. But don't be in your office and claim that because he won't come, he won't appear and he will interfere with investigation, or maybe he may in a way change the nature of certain properties. He may have acquired with certain monies alleged to have been gotten from criminal activities. Okay. These are clear cases you need to go to court and have the court to bless whatever you feel you are doing. But to be on your own, become a master of your own, become a constitution to yourself, I don't know. Beyond the Constitution, there's no other Constitution. Okay. And beyond the Constitution, there's no other law. Okay. But below the Constitution, there are so many laws. Okay. So Yoko must respect the law.
Austin, I want to engage you further on a different issue, but I just want you to explain something because we keep getting lots of comments on our social media handles. People are saying that, well, they saw him holding gold bars, they saw him driving luxurious cars. What does it mean when they say surety to be justified and not to be justified, just for purposes of education?
So like I intimated earlier, so the law enforcement agencies, be it police or YOCO or Office of the Special Prosecutor, in exercising their discretion powers in whether or not to grant you the bill, can say whether it should be justified or unjustified. Justified means that you must prove that whatever you have, you see, if they place the bill term, the condition, let's say you have to pay 50 million in the case of Mutumi is expected to, redeem himself by showing evidence of properties worth 50 million. Properties. So if it is to be justified, it means that you have to bring the document for them to look at it, whether it indeed. So they have to value or evaluate the document and find out if indeed it is worth the money that has been, or the bail condition that has been imposed on you. So that is where you have to justify it. In this case, the investigating body or the law enforcement agency will now have to investigate. They have to, set up a team to find out whether it's indeed the property you have brought the document. So in this case, you have to bring either the document for them to value and see if it is worth it. That is the justification. Okay. But if it's not to be justified, you can get somebody who feels that, okay, this is a property I have, and by reason of that, I want to stand surety for Wontumi. In that case, the IOCO or the law enforcement agency may not bother itself by valuing or making sure that indeed you are worth that amount.
Okay.
But in these two circumstances, Joe, usually the offense, the alleged offense, and the person involved, and a number of conditions, they take this into consideration before they say, okay, we will grant you bail, whether with justification or without justification. So if it is with justification, then they have to evaluate and see whether the property you are bringing, it is worth the amount that has been imposed on you.
Okay. I'll come back to you shortly. Let me bring some of the points you've raised. Let me engage AB on that. And AB, I don't know whether you hold the same appreciation he holds of Article 14. The point I was making to him is that, they have to release you either conditionally or unconditionally. So if they've released you based on a condition, if not met it, then they have to keep you. But he takes the view that, well, if you've not been able to meet the condition, it means you cannot meet it. So they have to now take you to court and charge you for the courts to decide.
Well, I agree that you cannot hold somebody beyond 48 hours. That is non-negotiable.
Okay.
And I won't say that because it's my opponent today, I would misread that law. 48 hours is 48 hours. I'm speaking this way because tomorrow I may be defending somebody else.
I used to meet you at the CID.
Exactly. So I have been in the situation and I have cried out loudly, justifying some of the provisions. So 48 hours is 48 hours. If you don't go to court within 48 hours, it doesn't stop his lawyers from also going to court and asking the court to order the institution to bring him to court. That is what I've talked about as producing the person in court. That is the habeas corpus, So 48 hours is non-negotiable. That one, I agree. The other thing that I want to explain is when you talked about sureties and those things. What is bail? Bail is simply releasing somebody to another person, and that person guarantees that when the court needs him, I'll bring him. That's all. So there are instances where people will go to court and say, I can no longer be the surety for this person. And can't bring him to court. He's evasive. When I'm looking for him, I don't get him. So they will quash, and then he may have to look for another person. So it is simply releasing a suspect or an accused to another person who guarantees that anytime the court wants that person, he will produce the person. And that's how come if they don't find the person, they'll be looking for you, the surety. Now, in the case of Wontumi, the investigative bodies will look at the crime, the gravity of the offense, and place the bail condition.
Bail bond.
Don't forget, in this one, there is something about cross-border offense. You read it?
Yeah.
That makes it a bit more difficult than just the ordinary matters like causing financial loss to the state and all those things. They will also want to look at whether you are likely to flee the country, because you would also look at the offenses that you are being charged with and weigh it. Is it worth staying in Ghana or I should fly? All those things are taken into consideration before the bail is given. So those who are saying the bail condition is high should also look at the offenses that he's being charged with. Look, this is a man who took like, who on the 8th of January, when government had changed, he was paid $10 million against the advice of the Chief of Staff. This same man took, how much? Is it $10 million? The other one was $51 million, the one that he took on the 8th. But $10 million to do farming, maize farming. Anytime the inspectors came, he took them to somebody's farm.
I mean, all those are allegations that would have to be investigated.
I'm telling you the gravity of the offense.
Yes.
This is the status, the Republic's case against him.
Okay.
And so it would be difficult for a state institution to lower the bail bond. But also, because of the liberties of individuals, the courts are always quick to ensure that because he's still a suspect and not yet a convict, his liberties will not be denied. So when they go to court, I'm sure they will have a leeway to ensure that he's brought out.
I mean, but if you compare this to the Kwabena Banahene, the former Director General for the Signals Bureau situation, I mean, it does bring to fore that it appears Yoko may well be acting in a bit of a high-handedness manner. And I say so because in that instance, they fixed the condition for 120 million. I mean, when they went over to the court, 120 million, there were two individuals involved, each of them. 120 million, not collectively put together, 120 million, to be justified. They went to the court and the court had to intervene and bring it down. I remember a case here in Ghana, one of the trials last year, they fixed 2 years ago, they fixed it around 200 million cedis at the High Court, bail bond. It went over to the Court of Appeal and the Court of Appeal said, no, that's too much. Because what the court had done was they looked at the monies involved and the Court of Appeal said, no, you can't put that amount. In the case of Republic versus Mike Nyinaku.
You should understand, state institutions are heavily on the side of the state. It is the court that has a balancing act to do.
Okay.
That's why you should understand. Every state, you get it. Even in the US, every state institution heavily protects and guards the states and will do the things that they are doing. But that's why the adhesion is not final. The kinds of things you are talking about is when it goes to court. And that's where the judge, he has a balancing act to do. And he will look at the liberty of the individual and look at the gravity of the offense and then reduce it. So after the state institution, don't blame them for anything.
Okay.
They are always on the side of the state. Yeah.
Let me return to Austin before I come to Ebo and Prof. And Austin, there's a concern that people are raising from the videos that they are watching on social media, and they make reference to the Public Order Act. It simply requires that if you are organizing a special event, you should give the police a notice at least within 5 days. I mean, we have legislators who just woke up in the morning, they went to work and they decided that, well, we are not going to work anymore. We are going to stage a special event at the Economic and Organized Crime Office. And they were allowed there. I mean, people make reference to that, and they make reference to what happened with the Occupy Flagstaff House protest, Jubilee House protest that took place in December last year. I mean, they had given notification, the police had tried to scuttle it, they had tried to go to court. People got there, they were picked up and banded away. And they make the point that it appears the Public Order Act only applies to the ordinary Ghanaian And if today anything is to go by, they are going to show up there once again. And the question that people are asking is that they did not give the police a notification of engaging in such an event.
I think it's their concerns are legitimate, and I agree, because you see, it's a law that we all respect, and we know, and like you well recounted, there have been times ordinary citizens fail to serve adequate notice on the police, and by reason of that, the police had to prevent them from embarking on their peaceful demonstration. So I think they have legitimate concerns, but you see, it is within the right of the police to stop them. But did they stop them? I think we should not be looking at. Fair enough. If the police feel that the lawmakers did not serve them notice and they want to stop them, they could have stopped them. But you see, they decided to also exercise their discretion to allow them to embark on their protest. I think it's legally what they did was wrong, but it is within the right of the police to have stopped them. And the police say, "Oh, just go, or we'll protect you." And the police went ahead to provide protection for them. And we all realized that it was peaceful, safe few issues, but it was generally peaceful. And I don't think there should be any problem with that. Okay. For me, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay. Let me come to the studio now and come to Prof. And Prof, I saw you making some notes. There are some points, some issues you want to touch on here.
You know, sometimes the lawyers will use technical words, which is interesting to me. And one thing that I like doing is to break down things so that the ordinary person on the street can understand. See, Ghana is not for MPP or NDC. Ghana is for all of us. And when something goes wrong, and we cannot be critical friends in our own party and talk about it, then Houston, we have a problem. So what is the standard that we want for Ghana? Is it the shoddy roads? Is it people coming to take money from us, and then the ordinary Ghanaian cannot get even 1 square meal to eat a day? Is that what we want? So there's a public order act, and the act says that you should give the police 5 days notice before you embark on any demonstration. Now, you make laws. See, you are not an ordinary person. No. You make laws. And you have taken the law into your own hand that I don't need to give police any notice. We are going on demonstration. Now, a lawyer is saying that the police had the right to stop them. If the police had tried, do you know what would have happened to this country? They would say that it's NDC police people that came to stop them. They will also push back on the police, that it will result in a crime and fighting and people will get injured.
But Prof, the point I was making to him is for the ordinary citizen, it does not engender confidence in the system.
Exactly. That's the point that I'm coming to. So imagine that, what is the name of your organization? Ebo?
Movement for Change.
Movement for Change decide to embark on a demonstration. And then they don't give any notice to the police. Then the police allow them to do the demonstration. You will see demonstrations sparkling from everywhere in the country. There will be lawlessness. Because the law says that, the Public Order Act says that, give the police time, they will protect you, they will even protect you. Now those who are supposed to make the laws are breaking the laws. So what kind of system are we building? And if we are building a weak system like this, where justice plays to the advantage of the rude and then the strong, it doesn't bother on them. Look, if we go to the ordinary police station and somebody steals a goat or a chicken or yam or anything, they will say, bring somebody, before you meet your bail term. If you are not able to meet it, you stay there until you bring somebody who will come and guarantee to the police that you will not run away. Other than that, you are still there. That is what we've been seeing at the ground. How come that at the top, we can apply the same thing? I have a problem with that. The second thing is that, Parliament, if you are not able to go to Parliament, if you don't go to Parliament for 15 days, you forfeit your seat. That's what the law says. Are they saying, and they say that they are not going to go to Parliament until Wontumi is released. I don't know why they are equating their job to that of Wontumi's release. So let's ask the question. Are we having a lawful demand of accountability? Or what we are doing, we are trying to destroy ourselves? I think that if the system calls for somebody for accountability, and then we use institutions and systems to protect that individual. What we are trying to tell Ghanaians is that if you belong to a political party, then you can even kill and go scot-free. Nothing will be done to you. That is the point we are saying, that if you want to do anything and then go free, join a political party, and that can happen. What about the independents in our society, the neutrals? Individuals who are neither MPP nor NDC, but they are also Ghanaian citizens, and they look up to the common good of society before they make their votes. What happens to them? So I think that we are erring on the wrong way. I've seen a group called themselves that the Men in Black in Ashanti region, also giving a press release that they will hold the NDC chairman and his cohort in Ashanti region responsible if anything happens to Chairman Wontumi. Is that the kind of system we want to build? That people who are under investigation for something, we cannot even allow the law to take its course. Why do we spend so much time in making nice laws like this, but when it comes to enforcement, then we have a problem, because everybody wanted to protect their own. Of course, if something happened to my family member, I would like to protect them. But if you do the wrong thing, I will not protect you.
Okay.
Because we all should face the law. That is the system I want us to build. That even if it is my mother or my father or my sister or my brother who does the wrong, let them face the law. That is leadership. And I'm not seeing that here.
Yeah, I mean, let me come to Ebo. And Ebo, I mean, the point that Prof makes about the way we react to this, I mean, for those who are a bit older, I mean, they can remember the free tattoo movement and all those things that came out over there during that period. I mean, we saw the same thing during the recent Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo-led NPP administration. I remember when the NDC national chairman was taken to court. You had members of the party show up in support of him. We saw the Jachikwesin issue. It's like and the point to the ordinary people is that when you go to court, there are people who are being prosecuted for various criminal offenses on a daily basis. Some will be found guilty, some will be found not guilty. But when it involves politicians, then all of a sudden, it's like some galvanizing point to mount pressure. Then the government itself also comes under pressure. You are thinking, do you want to, because now the foreign portals are picking this. They are reading it that a member of the opposition party has been picked up and what is being kept, and there are protests about his rights.
You see, Akable, sometimes I'm tempted to believe that the democracy we are practicing is leading to the destruction of this country, not its development. I mean, it is only under this democracy that we are practicing that someone like Wontumi could be so powerful and untouchable at a point in time. It's because we are practicing a democracy that has a very weak right hand of accountability. That's the kind of democracy we've had over the years. Politicians do whatever they like. Once they go out of power, they are free to enjoy the booty. And that has been the system. So it's like people are emboldened to do some of these things because, I mean, once my party is out of power, I'm okay, I'm free. I'm waiting, I'm praying and waiting to come maybe the next 8 years or the next 4 years. That has been the system. And we should be sad as a people to have such a system that allows people who have never had, who could hardly buy car tire or rent a house. Within 4 years, they own fleet of cars and mansions. If you are having such a system and you call it a democracy and you think you are proud of it, the only good thing about it is that every 4 years we have free and fair elections. And you are proud of having free and fair elections. Beyond that, nothing happens. I mean, if we are going to be very sincere, the kind of money we have lost through corruption in this country, through blatant thievery and looting, we are not a country that should go and beg for $3 billion from IMF. But we went because selfishness has taken over this country. Greediness has taken over this country to the point that all that I need to do is to join a political party. If I'm a thief, if I'm a cocaine dealer, let me join a political party. When I get caught, my people will rally behind me. And that is what is happening in this country. To me, is not above the law. The law has to deal with anyone who is found to have plundered this nation. And let me tell you, if the politicians are going to jail themselves every 8 years, every 12 years, every 20 years, for this country to get to the point of weeding out corruption in this country, I'm all for it. It is better, and I will repeat, I said it is better to have such a system than to have a situation where I know you have stolen, I know you've looted, you've plundered this nation, but you go, so that you too, when I do it, you let me go. That is the kind of system you've had in the last 30 years or 32 years. So if this government is resetting, then let's reset properly, so that they themselves, as they work, they'll be mindful that if I do, the same thing will be done to me in future.
Okay.
That system, that culture will help to save this country. Let's be honest, look at a situation where somebody jumps over somebody's wall, somebody go and steal somebody's plantain, somebody steals goat, and the person is sent to prison for 8 years, 10 years. Somebody steals mobile phone, the person goes to prison 8 years. Politicians come, you know them. As I said, you see this money, it's like a chicken change for them. But they know that because of the money they've stolen, and the monies were ill-gotten money, ill-gotten worth, they are afraid to come out to say, I'm putting my burden.
You could ask them where they
Yes. So that is why the guy is saying there. But you see, one other lesson I've learned from this is that when you're a politician, be mindful of what you say. It could be possible for somebody to have done something more damaging than what Wontumi has done. But you see, if you conduct yourself in a certain manner in politics, prior to the elections, some of the videos I've seen, some of the things Wontumi said about the president, about the vice president, the current one, about Alan Chamantin, and if you listen, watch those. Sometimes when I see them, I'm not able to watch them to the end. Because this is not the kind of democracy we should have. And when he was misbehaving, I didn't see anybody in MPP, no sensible person in MPP could call him and say, Wontumi, what you are doing, you are going beyond bounds. Even though you are practicing democracy, freedom of speech, the things you are saying are damaging to the personality, to the integrity, and to the credibility of those people. Nobody in MPP was sensible enough to caution him. Now they've been more sensible to go on the street, go and sit down like school kids and protesting. And it's so sad how you've taken this democracy to mean that you can come to power, do whatever you like, steal whatever you want to steal. Once your party goes out of power, you can enjoy your booty, praying that the next 4 years, your government, or 8 years, your government will come back to power, to come and continue the cycle of looting. Now we are running the country as John 10:10. What does John 10:10 say? The thief cometh not, but to steal, kill, and destroy. That's how we are running the politics.
Do you know that Wontumi has established and maintains a prison at his mining site? Do you know? Where he keeps his boys who misbehave towards him. One of my constituents called me. He was put there for 3 days.
He's detaining people beyond 48 hours.
Urinating, eating there. And that prison, a constituent of mine called me that he was kept in there by Wontumi. That's how he punishes those boys.
I mean, those are...
They are not... I'm saying that my constituent.
They have to be dealt with. I like something that...
So today, he's also having... I'm talking this because he brought about his conduct, his own conduct.
Okay. There's one issue, let me...
The law is... Now the Speaker of Parliament has now explained something to us in a better way. He said,
the law is the law is the law.
The law is the law. It's the law. So let the law work. And let it catch up.
Maybe let me wrap up with you. And there's this point that I raised with Prof. and Austin on the line as well about the Public Order Act. I mean, Act 491. In the very first section, it says, any person who desires to hold any special event within the meaning of this act in any public place shall notify the police of his intention not less than 5 days before the date of the special event. And you have to provide the nature, the time of commencement, the proposed route. All of this is geared at ensuring that normal lives are not affected by the special event, so that alternate arrangements are made in place. I mean, it cannot continue to happen. If today they decide that he's not met the conditions, they are going to go back over there and the police will stand unconcerned.
Probably today, but yesterday was so volatile. If you read the report on the May 9th disaster at the Accra Sports Stadium, you come to
the Okujeto Committee.
You'll come to a portion of that report that said that if the police had not thrown the tear gas, we wouldn't have had so many deaths. So policing should also be democratic. There's what is called democratic policing, where the police will also have to determine the situation. And that's why in answering your question, I said that maybe today, the police would be in a better position to deal with violators of the act. But yesterday was spontaneous.
Okay.
And as a police institution, I think that they were right by not, stopping them midway or even at any point.
Okay.
But just to guard them and ensure that they don't go beyond the boundaries. But today, if the police insist, and I expected that today the police should have issued a letter, is it a press release, that the MPs are violating the law. Because they are the ones who pass the law in Parliament. And if they are the ones who are being seen also violating the law, what should the ordinary man then do? So I wouldn't fault them for yesterday, but today I'll fault them if they allow such things to happen.
Okay. Yeah. Let me wrap up with Austin on Zoom now. And Austin, final comments as we draw the curtain on this conversation today.
Yeah, so, Joseph, I think clearly our appeal to the Yoko director to produce a person before court if you feel the person may interfere with investigation and any other reason, and by reason of that, and also the person is unable to meet the bail condition, it's a clear case that you are not able to release a person. So by reason of that, he must, Ramonacha must respect Article 14.3 and Section 15 of Act 30. And I also think that the lawyers of Wontumi should go to court if you feel the bail condition is too onerous. And because the law provides that if you feel the bail condition is too onerous, go to court and let the court bar it. They have that right. They should also exercise it. And I think there's one thing I wanted to comment on. The recurrent issue whereby when there's an arrest or when a member of a political party has been invited by law enforcement agencies and they are being interviewed or being detained, you see supporters and even party executives massing at the premises of these state institutions. I think it is worrying. It's one thing we also need to deplore. And I want to speak in strong terms that it is a worrying trend, because you see, we are in one breath asking that our state institutions are not doing their work, and in another breath we are the same people frustrating the effort of our state institutions. So it's something I was looking at, because you see, during Akufo-Addo's time, we also saw similar things, and you well articulate that when they invited and tried to detain the former chairman of NDC, we saw supporters of the National Democratic Congress massing at the premises to, I don't know whether to put pressure on the security agencies or so. Yesterday, we also saw the same thing, not just yesterday, 2 days ago and yesterday, we also saw similar thing happening by, where we saw MPP supporters, including party executives, massing and even some threatening the government, threatening law enforcement. This is unbecoming, and it is something we need to, in strong terms, condemn. And I want to use a platform to say that this is not how we build institutions. If you want the institutions to work, if they feel that an individual is a suspect, and by reason that he or she may have participated or connived with people to participate in a criminal activity, the law enforcement agencies are within their right to invite or detain that person and conduct the relevant investigation. Let's stop interfering and trying to prevent them to do their work. Threatening them it doesn't help anything. Nobody feels threatened when you mass at their premises and threaten the Yoko boss or threaten the police or the IGP. Nobody feels threatened. You must make sure that if the person is really culpable or the person is innocent, let the law deal with the person and stop massing, inviting supporters from across the country to come and leave their various work. And even we are working against the country, because these are people who are supposed to be working for the product, for the wealth and prosperity of this country, and they are massing up. They are massing at premises to prevent law enforcement agencies that we think should be more strategic, should be strong, and should be forceful in doing their work. We are again trying to prevent them from doing their work. This is one thing we need to, we need to deploy in strong terms. And I think the various political parties need to be careful of this and deal with it.
Thank you very much. That is Austin Kwabna Brako Powers. He's a legal practitioner. He joined us for our discussion this morning. Let me do some messages just before we go. And this one here is from Prince Henry from Koforidua. He said that the NPP minority MPs must stop being hypocritical and allow the law, which is the law, to work. As for Wontumi being sick there, Azankwa, hey, Bibi Etumi Wontumi, wow. Let me take that one again. He said, as for Wontumi being sick there, Azankwa, hey, Bibi Etumi Wontumi. Why did NPP MPs led by Afenyo refuse to sleep at Yoko office? The law will work because no one is above the law. That is that one from Prince Henry from Koforidua. There are lots of comments on the Facebook feed as well. The Facebook feed, he said the bail conditions are small. That's what Oseche Mensah said when Woyeme was given over 50 million bail there. He said the system of accountability will finally stop corruption. That is a message from Patrick on the Facebook page as well. And another one here, you make reference to the Kwabna Edubuahi one, and you are asking why did the MPs not sit on the floor? That is coming from you, Gershon Intri. You said that why did the MPs not sit on the floor when Kwabna Edubuahi was also granted the 80 million bail bond there. So lots of comments coming through. Thank you so much for sending your messages and watching on Facebook and on TV as well. My guests in the studio have been Abraham Amaliba. He's a legal practitioner, a member of the NDC and Director General of the National Road Safety Authority. Next to him, Ebo Bachman of the Movement of Change, financial and economic analyst. And Prof, I have a friend a very special friend, I must say, in the United States of America. She sent a message. She said, let me read the message directly.
I wanted to talk quickly about that.
I'm coming. I'll give you 1 minute for for the US one, but the lady here says that Prof is looking very, very sharp. You can make your point in 30 seconds now.
The issue about the US mission in US, Ghana mission in US being closed down, I've received a lot of calls from Americans, Ghanaians.
It has been open.
They've now issued a
statement that open. They think that such an issue should not happen. You know,
the closure.
You can't do that based on somebody's misconduct. So they were not happy, but now that it's been opened, they think that...
I think it was less than even 2 days.
Yes,
less than 2 days.
Yes. So you can only close it when there's insecurity or there's a threat or there's bad relation between that country. And we need to respect our relationship with other countries.
But on that issue, the majority MPs on Foreign Affairs Committee said they were going to go there. Did they go there?
No, they've not been there yet.
We'll see how.
Because summer is time for traveling, and most Ghanaians there want to come home. And all their visas were being delayed because of the closure. So
at least now it's been reopened.
Yes, let's guard against that.
Let's see how that story unfolds. That is it by way of this segment. Stay tuned in. We have a lot more for you, a exciting conversation for you on the show. Stay tuned in.